You. Happy New Year. Monday, January the 6th is when we're doing this right now. It's your friends from the Prime Real Estate team. Myself, we got Megan, we got Afraz, we have Daniel who's off on assignment. He was going to be here, but he ended up having to run over to Sydney to do what he's got to do. Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. I
Exciting.
will say this though, just in case our viewers are wondering, it was not exactly a quiet holiday. You never know when Christmas is gonna have people wanting to buy and sell real estate. Sometimes you don't, sometimes you do. This time it seemed like something that there was because both of you guys were busy doing stuff, as was I, over the holidays, right?
Sounds like
Yeah.
we were all kind of at listing appointments and out with buyers and meeting with clients to chat about 2025.
Mhm. Offers too. Had offers come in. They all didn't stick though, mind you. I mean, we're at one of these kind of transition points right now where people are not necessarily seeing eye to eye because one party thinks things are better than they perhaps are. Another party thinks that they're getting worse than they are in reality. So this is a whole bit of storytelling that we'll be sharing with all of you in just a moment here because this is our year-end report. We're going to talk about what happened in December of 2024. We'll chat a little bit about the year in general, 2024, and then some news and updates and things like that, because that's what we're here for, anyways. Afras, you were talking about the fact that people are getting a little more excited right now.
Yeah, so I've actually been working with these buyers for I want to say 6 months now, and near the end of summer they were feeling a bit frustrated because they didn't just find a nice property that kind of suited their needs. But they're excited about this year because they're hoping for more inventory, more listings to come up on the market, and of course having the lower interest rates helps as well, right? So sensing a lot of excitement for 2025, so we're looking forward to that.
Something that I have been talking about, I think here during our regular updates is mortgage brokers are telling us that they're doing more pre-approvals right now. Whereas they were spending a lot of time the rest of the year doing refinances or things like that. This is a key, because they're sort of the gateway. When people are doing their pre-approvals, it tells us that people are thinking of entering the marketplace. And as a result, we've got people who are thinking more about real estate, especially now because of the fact that we've had the successive interest rate, Bank of Canada rate adjustments. So people are getting a little more excited about this real estate thing. But let me share, as I always do, folks, some statistics here. So this was for December, and you can see here our sales were up 28%. So we've had some big numbers, remembering that that compares to last December. You got to decide. Does that mean that last December was low, or does that mean that this December is high? I think it's somewhere in between, right? Inventory as well, active listings up 7.4%. Kind of interesting because the number of sales is outstripping the number of new listings. So there is a lot of consumption going on. So things that are coming to market are being consumed. What it does mean too is that we do not have an overabundance of listings right now as well too. Looking at the average prices, so December ended up single family home in Greater Victoria, 1,308,000. That is up 2.5% from last year, although it's down from last month. You guys got to remember that you got to look at a bigger picture because the average is always influenced by the number of higher price properties or lower price properties that hit the market. Let's look at the number of sales again. So we were up, as I said, 28% from last year, though. So let's look at 2024 in general, up 11% from 2023. We ended up at 6,893 sales versus 6,207. It's kind of interesting because for some people, 2024 was difficult. Realtors, sellers, I get that. However, it was far from dead. In fact, it exceeded the year before, 2022, which is saying something because you may remember early 2022 is when we hit the peak price-wise, right? Speaking of which, when we look at prices, here we go. You can see we hit that peak again, 2021, 2022, and we are still not at the peak. Might take a little while to get there, but in the grand scheme of things, when you look at a graph, we're considerably higher than even 2019. It was not long ago when you think about it, right? The other thing to look at is, of course, active listings. So we ended up with 2,290. So we're up probably around, I just know what's the estimate? Maybe 15%, 10, 15% as far as active listings are concerned. We're going to see more because, as Afra says, as long as there's the indication that the market is going to be improved, there will be more listings on the marketplace. Buyers will have more choices and more selection. I got to say, folks, we bring this up every once in a while because, if you look back at some of the videos that we've had in the past few months, we have been talking about what's that tipping point, what's the ideal time to sell and then buy something. It's entirely possible that we may have kind of just missed that. It might still be that time right now because the indicators tell us that it will be a busy year, at the very least the first quarter. So if you're thinking of doing something and you've got a property to sell, the window kind of closes because if all we have to do is think back to 2021. If it gets to a market where it is a fast moving market where you list your house for sale and it sells tomorrow, that's great. But it also means that you're going to be competing with 10 or 15 people when you buy something. And we all remember how painful that, Megan, you remember how painful that was?
Oh, yes, walking in the door to see something and walking out writing an offer in the car. That's what it was.
Yes. Battle
Yeah.
scars. We all got battle
Yeah.
scars still, right? So anyways, folks, this is just a sort of brief overview as to what happened in 2024. Bottom line is sales up. It was quite a bit too, again, it was not by any means a slow year. In fact, I do want to share, again, because something that people do ask every once in a while when it comes to number of sales. See, 6,893 sales. When you look even at the past 10 years, that is a pretty decent number, right? We had 6,200, 6,800, we had 5,900, 5,700. Of course, we had a couple of 8,000s, 2016, we all remember was busy, right? Something I do want to share with you just for interest's sake. I don't know if you know this, but the real estate board does compile information about the origins of buyers because if you are you wondering about, hey, are these foreign buyers, where are people coming from? Well, guess what, whenever there's a sale, you guys know this, Afraz, Megan, you get an email from the real estate board. What does it ask?
All about the buyers.
All about the buyer, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And presumably you answer honestly, right? Here we go, folks. If you're curious, 2024, it asked the question where buyers come from. And we can see here, Greater Victoria represented 73% of the sales in Victoria. We always know that. It's always 70, 75%. That doesn't change. Then we get Malahat, we got Gulf Islands, North Island, other parts of BC, right? The lower mainland is the next biggest one at 9%. But anyways, BC, 91.4%. That's where the sales come from. Then you look at the rest of Canada, right? You got the other provinces. We have it adds up to 99%. So Canada representation of sales, 99.06%. Where are the foreign buyers? Let's not forget we got a foreign buyer ban right now. We got a foreign buyer tax. Didn't prevent sales from happening, folks, right? Of that very small percent, which represents, what is that, 0.94%, you can see here there were 42 sales from USA, 12 from Europe, 2 from Asia, 7 from other, very small amount, 63 sales out of 6,800, right? So that's a really interesting thing. I know some people say, "Oh yeah, well, that doesn't necessarily explain the true where the buyer's citizenship is." I get that. But you know what? You ask the realtors. The realtors are the ones who have the boots on the street. We're the ones who are working with people. We know where they come from. And the other thing is, why would we lie? There's no advantage right now because there's a foreign buyer ban and there's foreign buyer tax, right? The other thing too, folks, in case you're wondering, we also get asked what the motivation of buyers is. Again, you guys, Megan, Afras, you get these emails. I get them too, right?
Mhm.
And it asks here, was it a residential property? Was it new, previously occupied? 89.5% previously occupied. What was the primary motive of the buyer? An entire 2024. You can see here the biggest percentage of 26.7% is entering the housing market. That's a little remarkable. So a quarter of the sales happen people entering the real estate market. And again, guys, we hear every day people saying it's impossible. We can't buy, we can't enter the market of Victoria. Victoria is so expensive. I get it. I get that's expensive, but it is not true that people can't because 26.7% of the sales that happened in Victoria were first-time buyers. And we know this, your friends at the Prime Real Estate team, because we help first-time buyers all the time, right, guys?
All the time.
All
Yeah.
the time.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Right? And the next biggest group here, you see 14%, someone wants a larger home. They get into a bigger house. And then you get relocation, people from other parts of the country, 12.9%, and then moving to different neighborhood. People all have their different reasons for moving. This is very interesting data. And by the way, all this is available both at the real estate board, and we can share this with you as well too. Happy to share it with you. Here's the other one that's really, really telling. It says here, how did the buyer finance the purchase? And you can see here 52% financed with a conventional mortgage, which means they had more than 20% down, followed by all cash at 27%. Because you see, this is the other thing. The question is, how much do interest rates influence purchases? Because we all think about the fact that first-time buyers, high interest rates would mean that they can't enter the real estate market. Well, we've just discovered here that there's a quarter of the sales that are first-time buyers, but this also tells you here, people have money to put down. And I am always reminding people about the fact that a lot of buyers in Greater Victoria have equity that they've built up from a previous home. They sell it, they move into their next house. They're not financing the whole thing. So interest rates are a little less of an influence, right?
Mhm.
Anyway, so much great, cool data. What do we think is going to happen next year? Well, listen, there's been a few things in the news right now. I know you're all aware of this, right? First of all, of course, we have budget reforms. We have the Canadian government has increased price cap for insured mortgages from 1 million to 1.5. That's a big deal. So this is for those people that need to buy with less than 20% down. They are expanding amortization from 25 years to 30 years for first-time buyers and also for buyers of new build. And there's some new inventory out there, right? The other thing, of course, is we have the flipping tax that goes into effect, that went into effect 5 days ago, so January the 1st. And for any of you who haven't paid attention to this, if you sell a home in the first 2 years, you're going to get taxed. So you want to learn more about that, you let us know. And then of course we've had some other things like the provincial bill 44. We've had the changes in the strata, no more strata bylaws against restricting rentals. We've got no more age restrictions. We've got that higher density in properties. Holy cow, there's so much that happened in 2024. What's going to happen in 2025, right? You guys are feeling good about 2025, right?
Oh yeah, excited.
Yes. Listen, folks, I know we're excited because one of the things we do as a business is we do projections about how we feel the year is going to be, and we do feel that it's going to be a strong year. So, again, if you have questions, if you want to share this video with anyone you think that might be interested with the information that I just posted, I'm going to put a link in the information down below here, so you can click and see all the stuff that I have just gone through with you here. We are happy to help you. And if 2025 is your year or somebody that you know's year, then let us know because we're happy to help. So we've got Afra, so we got Megan, we got Daniel, who's not here, and myself, your friends at the Prime Real Estate team. Anything else to close up here, guys? It's a long one.
No, I think you nailed it.
Mhm.
Okay. Lots to know. We'd be happy to help. And we have mentioned this before. We got a beautiful new office at Fisherman's Wharf down in the Inner Harbor. If you find yourself in the neighborhood, going down to grab fish and chips or something like that, come on up and visit us. Come up for a coffee. We'll go to the cafe, which is a fantastic little spot down below. We'd be happy to visit with you guys. Thank you, as always, for your support in 2024. We did finish up the year number 34 in Western Canada for teams, which is saying something because we are a small team of four. We compete with teams that have 40 people. We are very highly ranked, not only in British Columbia, but especially on Vancouver Island as well, too. That just has to do with productivity. And it also has to do with the fact that you have been supporting us in one way or other for the last 30 years. So thank you very much. We are here to serve. We're not going anywhere. We're here to help you as well too. So happy New Year, everyone. And we'll see you this time next month. Bye.
Bye.